listening to The Rob
Anybody
and Dawn Show. Call Rob and Dawn at 888-989-9811 or listen online at radradio.com.
No.
Right? So I finally found Mike with the camera guys. And as I said, they're local, they're lifelong family-run operation, and their systems are spectacular. And Mike is like the greatest, and I mean this in the most nice way, the greatest salesperson for what he does, because the passion in him just lights up. He is. I don't know if he's a natural-born salesman or if he is just so incredibly in love with what he does. And I think it's the latter, because this is all they do. This is not one of these companies that'll also hang TVs for you. You know how a lot of companies will come out and they'll do, this is it. This is what they, in fact, he's so good at what he does. Homeland Security called him locally.
No way.
Stop it.
Homeland Security.
Oh, my Lord.
Reached out to him because of his reputation to have him quote them on their system.
Oh my God, we need this person.
Here's another story. This one's nuts. So the largest pawn shop in all of North America is not on that stupid show, or either of the stupid shows on what used to be FX or whatever. God. The largest one in North America is in Los Angeles, and the camera guys, who are based in the Sacramento area, they did a full revamp of his system. Same reason. They heard about Mike's reputation.
Oh,
and
wow.
By the way, a pawn shop.
Oh my God.
That's 130 cameras. They're everywhere. You're on camera, right?
Those are so hot to steal from.
And he told me that, and I said, "Oh wow, that's really impressive." And then I thought about it. I said, "Wait a minute. This is Los Angeles. Celebrities, athletes. There are 1 million people that do cameras in LA, and this guy who owns the biggest pawn shop in America called Mike. Yeah, you need to be doing my security kind of thing." And so, I said something to that to him about that later, like after it hit me, and he said, "Well, it's even better than that. Not only did he trust our work so much that he actually pays our hourly rate and our flights and our hotel and our food to go out there once a month to do maintenance on his camera and his, which, by the way, that's because he's got 130 cameras and he's got a high-end over-the-top system. But to have a guy in the heart of video surveillance world, L.A., who is paying a guy from Sacramento and his team to fly down, and paying his hotel, his food, I'm like, you pay for nothing. It was nothing. And we get paid to do the job.
Wow.
So
that says a lot.
Hearing these stories, I got so excited for him, and I thought, okay, look, I realize video surveillance is not something that everybody wants or needs or can afford. I get it. But that's never stopped me from wanting to share with people what's out there, because I don't know what Shannon, who started this whole conversation, the one who just bought a house, is really looking for. But I know that being a homeowner again, and for the last 30 years, basically, in my life almost, not quite that long, 25 years, every time I think, that's a little much for me, when I see something that can protect what I've invested in, I say no. It's not too. I'll skimp somewhere else. And so Mike came in, and I said, well, let's start with just what are the possibilities. And there's lots of things that we've seen on TV or you see in movies and that kind of thing. He has, first of all, he has the license plate recognition system, which for me is fantastic because we live on the top of a hill that above us has a few more homes, and people are constantly driving up and down our street, and he showed me how it works, and it is crystal clear. You get every license. I will get every single license plate that comes near Williams Manor.
I love it.
If I just wanted to sit down and have fun one day, I could log into the DMV database and just start searching. Does this person belong in our neighborhood? I'm not that paranoid. But so you've got that. You've got night vision. You've got they have wireless cameras. They've got nanny cameras, or as we call them at Williams Manor, doggy cameras. And the cool thing about those is they're wireless and they're like a little cube, and you can move them. Because they run off of a secure Wi-Fi line. So if you're like, because like I in the beginning I was like, no, I do not want cameras inside. To me, that's freaky. I love and trust my wife, but I don't need her to be able to see when I'm flogging the dolphin at any time.
Right. Yeah.
As hot as that might be, and I don't need to be able to look in and see that she's lying on the sofa watching TV when I'm at bowling. He said, no problem. You take the cube and you put it wherever you want it. Or if you're the only person home, you move it. So when you leave, like we just a quick cut, we just brought our newest dog, Callie, home yesterday.
Oh, sweet Callie.
The rescue dog, 2-year-old Shepherdor. She's now home at Williams Manor, but we got to start all over with her. Basically, she's a puppy. She's got a lot of anxiety and a lot of energy, and she doesn't know a lot of commands, and so she's got to go all the way back to she gets kenneled when we leave the house while the other dogs are out. So set that puppy cam up facing right at Callie's kennel so that I can see if anything happens. And if something does, you call a friend. Like if I'm on the air, I call Mom. Mom, get your ass up to the house and figure out what you're going to do with Callie, things like that. They've got motion alert systems with remote viewing. So now that's like, oh, well, yeah, the Ring has that. No, but you got to understand, we're talking about high def. All of it's saved. You get alerted right away. I mean, I was blown away by everything he has and does, and it costs money, but it doesn't have to cost 5 figures. It can cost low 4. Some of the equipment is low 3, and I fell in love with this guy, and I promised myself I would make time for him on the show. So when we got Shannon's email and I had these stories, I guess I thought now is the time. And they're called The Camera Guys. Their website is thecameraguys.biz. And all I'm asking you to do is just flood him. Just let him know that we're out here, because I really believe we could do a lot for his business. And he's such a nice guy. And I'm not going to get personal, but he's one of these guys. I think I don't know how old he is. I don't know if he's similar to me in age. If not, he's younger. But he's one of these guys who, similar to me, has found a second chance at happiness in life. And it's so great to see him gush over what he has.
Oh, my God, I love that.
And that's the whole thing. Is this he's the perfect person that we try to kind of mold with and partner with. So even if he says, I can't do it, Rob, I still just want him to be able to go, wow, okay, you showed me that they're out there.
And all of that as you're talking, I'm hearing you, but I'm also, maybe as some others were envisioning their home. You know what I mean? I'm like, where would this go? So I don't know if I missed in there. They also monitor, so you're like, or you set up with the monitoring, or
so we can do it. Yeah. We can do it some different ways. So they don't do their contracts, monthly fees, things like that, but the system can be monitored remotely by anyone all the time.
Yeah.
And if you allow them, they can have access to your system all the time at any time. Now, they're not going to actually have a person sitting there staring at it.
Right.
But why do you need that because you control the whole thing. It's not just like the Ring, right, where you want to get the front door.
Yeah.
Any one of those 3, 4, 12 cameras, you want to see what's going on, you just pipe right in and it's instant access.
This is so what I already like what I heard was with the remote cameras. Because we have a couple, but they have to be plugged in. Do you know what I mean? They're not. So you have to find a plug-in area. So we've done this with Hank since he's been a puppy, because we wanted to make sure that he does know how to handle being in the house in the crate if we're not there for a couple hours, and he isn't that dog that barks all the time, right? No, he passes out asleep. Oh, this is where you'll be mellow. Passes out the whole time, but we have the camera on it, but you have to angle it in just a way, and because you got to deal with the cord. Anyway, this whole wireless thing that you're talking about already, I'm like, okay, I really like that.
Yeah. No, it's when you see this stuff, and it's like, it's a la carte, right? It's like somebody might be going, no. The garage thing, right? So because my garage is nowhere near my front door, because when he came in, he said, well, you should really have a camera in your garage. I'm like, why?
Yeah, that makes sense now.
And then when he told the story of well, Rob, you have thousands of dollars of tools right here, but more importantly, there's an entry point into your home through the garage. Not only do they get in the garage, they can get into the house, for God's sake.
Listen, I know folks, numerous, that have huge ass gun safes in their garage.
Yep.
that is a place to put that. And yeah, when you think of the tools, oh my God, yeah, I don't want to say how much my husband has in the garage until we have that secure.
Here's an email, rad@radradio.com from Jose.
Hola.
Brandon's from Mexican.
He says, is this whole segment a PSA because you're going to be going on vacation next week?
Ooh, yeah, it's a warning.
Yes, we
Stay away.
Now that you know next week is spring break, we'll be gone for 1 week. Don't even think about it, maggot.
Hey, this is part of the reason where I'm like, listen, bitches, I have a weapon in every room of the house.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Which, as we pointed out, doesn't do you any good if you're not home.
But it doesn't do me any good if I'm not home.
And so if you come home and poor little Hank's still in his kennel, like when he's a puppy, and because I want to make it as least traumatic for you as possible. Hank's not harmed, but your house has been cleaned out, and all you have is a possible thing on the ring or whatever.
Yeah.
Not now. I mean, I was robbed once or was burglarized once, whatever the hell it is, where you're not home. And it was 1997. And it was a turning point for me because I didn't find out for 3 days because they only took a couple things, including back then, in 1997, kids, okay, we were still writing checks. And they and my checkbook was sitting out on the kitchen counter. It was a single guy living alone, and he had taken a check and he had written it to himself in cash, and he had pulled off something else that was sitting there that had my something I had signed, so that he was able to forge it good enough to where 3 days later I get this alert from my bank that I'm overdrawn due to written a check for like $1,000 or whatever.
Jesus.
And then I start looking around, realizing, wait a minute. I used to have a change jar, like a big jar of change, probably $70 in it. That was gone, and it was wintertime in Reno, so I was never going out in my backyard. I went over to my backyard. That's how he got in. He broke in by breaking open the glass door, and ever since then, I have been like, I am not going to live life paranoid, but I'm going to accept bad things happen, and I want to do everything I can, first to stop them, but second to catch some bastard.
Yes,
if
that
they
is so
do.
true.
If I would have had this system then, I would have known right when it was happening.
Because I could feel like I'm reliving it again. Because I remember when that happened to you, and just like that's because you're not home. So of course you were not injured, and things can be replaced. Although things that are maybe family heirlooms,
right? The Holocaust stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like that's heartbreaking. So even if they don't get away with taking anything that's that valuable or meaningful to you, it's that they were in your home and you want the little blankers. I almost cussed God. Yeah, for like the nerve of them. Like, oh hell no.
It's the most violated I've ever felt in my life. Yeah. And I know a lot of you have been victims of worse things, but for me that is the most violated. Just knowing someone was in your home.
Because that should be your safe place.
We got this email, rad@radradio.com, from Melinda.
Hey Melinda.
She says, we could have used this type of alarm a couple months ago when some scumbag stole mail from our house that had a business check in it.
No.
They tried to write out the original payee and put their own name. We got quality, and that's the problem. Okay, great. I know it's a red Toyota Corolla. I can't really make out the license plate number. Good luck with that. With law enforcement and everything that they're looking for.
If you go to those Ring sites, people that have them are like, can you make this out? Did you get their driver's license? And everyone's trying to zoom in. Like, did someone else live on this street? Did you have another angle?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We just got this email from Rob.
Hey, Rob.
What? Come on. I'm trying to help out a maggot here. All right. Rob says, dude, I had the camera guys put a surveillance system in my house in 2016, I think it was. I contacted Mike by email, and he emailed me back the Google Earth view of my house. Yep, this is how they do it. With a diagram of the entire perimeter absolutely covered. That's where he'll start. And he'll show you camera here, and then they'll still come out, and they'll go, wait a minute, we missed a spot. Oh, wait, we can move this one.
Nice.
Says, I emailed back and mentioned that I wasn't quite in need of the Scarface package, as I wasn't expecting
that sounds exciting.
Crazy dudes with machine guns to come crashing over my back
You
fence.
never know.
He worked out a little bit of a more down-to-earth option for me and sent Matt out to do the job. Matt's the brother? Not his son. It's got to be his brother. Matt. So Mike is like the tech. God, how would I describe it? Matt does most of the installations, but I don't want to say Matt's the brains of the operation because Mike's the brains of the operation, but Matt actually does the install. They're a great team. Says Matt was blanking amazing. Mike was great to work with. Matt was so rad, and I hope you got to meet him. I just said I got to meet him, emailer. Are you not listening? Yes, they're great people.
Rob, anybody, and Dawn. The Rob, anybody, and Dawn Show.